Here we go. Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining our life skills, study tips, and library information with April Lafferty, our reference library here at BBC. This session is being recorded as well, so you can visit the link again. And we also have a pre-survey if everyone could fill that out in the link. And this is through Campus Life, and we're going to get started. So thank you, April.
Thank you. Hi, everybody. It's a small room today, but I'll go over all the things. Obviously, stop me at any time if you have any questions, and I'll go ahead and get started. First, let me share my screen. Let's see here. I'm going to go to the correct screen here and go to slideshow. Okay, so I'm going to do a couple of things. First of all, I am April Lafferty. I'm a librarian at the BBC campus. I work mainly with hospitality and nursing, but I work with any student who happens to come to the BBC campus or who I talk to on chat. And I'll talk to you a little bit more about that a little bit later on. So today in this session, I'm going to be covering some study tips and some best practices for that. I'm also going to go over some library research tips, and then I'm going to go over a program called Refworks, which is really helpful for finding and organizing all of your citations for any research project that you're doing. So go ahead and get started. First of all, well, let me back up a little bit. I wanted to review what is available at the library right now with the COVID restrictions. We have released some of the restrictions. So I just wanted to make you aware of some of the restrictions that some of the things that are available to the students right now. First of all, the library is open to current students, and it is walk-in only, or it is based on walk-in. Before you had to have a reservation. Now anybody can come in. Make sure you bring your Panther ID. And the things that are open are study tables. You can use our computer labs, the printers, and the Wi-Fi. And if you do want to check out a book, that is possible. You just have to go online, reserve the book ahead of time, and come in when it is available. You won't be able to actually go to the shelves to browse the shelves to check the books out. Those are still closed, but you can go to our catalog and reserve them ahead of time. And I can show you how to do that as well. So now I'm just going to cover some simple study tips. These you probably are aware of already, but I find that they're useful for me just to refresh my memory. It's not like I study every single day, so it helps me to remember what is a good thing to do. And maybe some of these tips will be a little bit new to you. So I just thought I'd go over some useful study tips that have helped me in the past. The first thing to do is to make sure you make a plan, schedule your time, especially in small increments. You don't want to overwhelm yourself with an 8-hour day of studying. So schedule your time, make yourself a study calendar as though you're planning out your work day. Make yourself a study calendar and schedule yourself breaks so that you aren't going crazy with studying the same exact thing all day long. Make sure that you're studying smarter, not harder. When you write notes, review them as soon as you're done writing them, as soon as the class is over, go back and review them. Focus on the areas that you need improvement. If there's stuff that you already know, obviously you won't have to worry about that as much. When you're reviewing reading material, the best advice that I can give is to quickly skim it, look at the headings, look at the reviews and the summaries to get a better understanding of the materials. Maybe there's parts that you can skip because you already know those parts. So that helps you a little bit to speed up the process. If you have any supplemental material, of course, focus on that. If you're having trouble with the subject, you might not have to focus on it as much if you already know it. Review your past exams. And then finally, when you're reviewing, don't just highlight or write down things verbatim. I have a bad habit of doing that when I'm taking notes. I write down exactly what the professor is saying, or I just highlight every single thing that I see in the book in front of me. And then I go back and, it's not helping me at all. So make sure you're only getting the key points. Does anybody have any questions for me? I see there's a chat. Oh, you
No,
do?
you're good. You're good.
Okay.
I also relate to that as well. Like that, I write everything the teacher says or everything the book says, which is why my study habits are terrible. So, yeah.
Yes, it's really hard for me to remember to do that, to only get the key points, but that is something really important to remember. Just get the key points, and because I'll start out really good and then I kind of get tired and I just start highlighting everything, but it is really important to remember to stop yourself and go back and only focus on those key points that you're looking at. Let's see. Oops, I went too far. And then also, I want to remind yourself to reward yourself when you're studying. Make sure you take study breaks, stay hydrated, eat. You know, your brain needs fuel in order to work. So don't just think that you can study for 8 hours without taking a break. You do need to take study breaks. And I wanted to show you this page that I created for you. And tell me, if you can't see it, let me know. But this is a page, it's called Virtual Finals Stress Relief. And it's the library's answer to, we usually do a room in the BBC library where we have students come in to listen to meditative music and do arts and crafts and basically take a step away from their finals. But since we've been closed for so long, we're not able to do that. We set up this page so that you guys can go on and have some stress relief here. So there's a bunch of stuff on here. Feel free to use as much or as little on it as you want. I just thought that it would be useful. Under the first link, our study aids, I have a page of study tips. So it's a lot of those tips that I just went over. But I also have playlists of music that you can listen to if you're a type of person who likes to listen to music while you're studying. There's these study with me videos, and they're YouTube videos of people actually studying. It's like 2 hours long, 4 hours long. So if you can't come to the library or you can't go to a place where there are other people, but you still like to have the feeling of other people around, you can turn one of those on and listen and watch them study while you're studying. I have links to the library resources, which I'm going to go over, but there are videos on there on how to do certain things with the library, like find articles and books and that sort of thing. And then just some fun stuff. There's live streams of animals, arts and crafts, BuzzFeed articles. A lot of local public libraries have free ebooks, audiobooks, and streaming videos. So if you're going to take a longer break, you can use those. I've got recipes, mindfulness. And then finally, I have links to other FIU resources, like the Writing Center, the Center for Academic Success. So it's all right here in one place, so you don't have to go all over looking for it. Okay, so that's basically my, my tips on how to study. This link here, which I will go back to the screen so that you'll have it on the screen in front of you in case you want to take it down. The link is library.fiu.edu/destress. So if you wanna go back to that later on, you're more than welcome to do that. And at this point in the presentation, I was planning on stopping and asking if there's anybody here who has any other tips or ideas of how to study or anything like that. So I know that there's not very many of us, but this is being recorded. So if you have any tips on studying, let me know. I don't know if there's any other, let's see.
I have a, well, something that I do, because I'm still learning how to study. I guess in high school, we were more looking for the answers rather than actually knowing the knowledge. So college has been a lot of bit different. So something that I have been doing is looking at the beginning of the chapter and the end of the chapter, because I've usually seen that I stay stuck in between like the pages or in between the middle of the chapters, that I never really get to the bulk of the information. So I look at the summaries, as you stated before, and the chapter reviews. I also look at the vocabulary and I define, if I can, I go through all the vocabulary because the vocabulary is what makes up the chapter as well. And knowing those different things, like looking at the vocabulary and then adding the context of the chapter or the heading or the section within the chapter helps me to better understand what they're speaking about. And also for me, I kind of skip headings and subheadings and sections within chapters, because going from beginning to end doesn't really help. So I kind of jump through different sections. So I start off maybe at the beginning, like read the intro, then go and jump to the end, or start in the middle, because for me, this provides me variety, and I don't get stuck in one place. So those are my study ways, so that maybe I can help someone else. So yeah.
Yes, those are excellent tips. And that is, that's actually how I will read a chapter as well. I will jump from the beginning. I'll read the beginning and the end first to kind of give yourself an idea of what it's all about. Also the beginning and end of a paragraph. So it kind of gives you the idea of what is going to be in the paragraph to tell you if it's worth reading, if it has important information, or if it's something you can just skim over. So that's also useful too. If you really need to get really into it, just kind of in order to quickly skim through a reading that you have to do. Also, as far as like academic articles, reading the abstract, which you'll find when you're doing research, is a really good way of also finding out more about what's in the article before you read the entire article, because an academic article can get very, very long. So it's great to read the abstract first. Okay. Well, that's a great tip. Thank you so much. I'm going to move on to the next section of my presentation. Let's see, oops, I went too far. This is the library research tips section. So I'm going to be talking about how you can, I'm going to give you some research tips so that you can do your research more effectively, which helps you with studying and saving you time later on because you know exactly where to go. So let me just go to the library homepage. And I'm going to go over a few things that we have here on our homepage. The very first thing that I want to point out to you is this box that it pops up on every single page that you go to. It's our chat widget. So if you do have a question about library research, you can go on here and click on chat now, and it will connect you with a librarian in real time. Our hours are posted under the library's hours. So if you'll see right on the main screen, the today's hours, you see the chat reference. Today we're open from 9 a.m. to 8 p.m., but it depends on the day. We are open 7 days a week for chat. That's the best way to reach a librarian for any kind of library or research oriented questions. Other library hours are also posted on here. The Green and Hubert libraries are both open. We have a little bit of limited hours at this time, so check back to find out what the full hours are. Before, when I was telling you that in order to check out a book, you will need to reserve it ahead of time. If you go under library reservation systems, I don't know if you can see this box or not, but a box pops up and it says books and more. And underneath it is a button for reserve books. You just click on that box or that button and it'll walk you through the process of reserving a book. Once it's reserved and it becomes available, you'll get an email notification, and then you just come into the library, make sure you bring your Panther One card, and then you can check it out. So it's a pretty easy process. The next thing that I want to point out on my page, on this page, are the FAQs. If the chat is closed or if you just really need a quick answer, that's the best place to go. Go there, and we have hundreds of frequently asked questions on there. So take a look at that. And then also I'm going to go over a little bit in depth the search bar that's at the top of the screen. This is the best and fastest way to find most things when you're doing library research. If you're not really sure which database to go to, if you're not sure if you need a book or an article, come here and you can enter your keywords. It searches our library catalog, so all of our print books. It also searches ebooks, streaming books, and articles. So you can find almost everything that the library offers by searching this one search bar. So I'm just going to type in, I'm the hospitality librarian, so I'm going to use the keyword hospitality. You don't have to be very specific here. I'll show you why on the next page you can narrow down your search. So just go ahead and do the search. If you were off campus at this point on the next screen, it would ask you to log in to off-campus access. And I should already be logged in. Yes, I am. So if I wasn't logged in, it would have asked me for my FIU username and password. But since I already am, it takes me directly to this page. So then on this page, you can narrow down your search quite a bit. So if you come up here to advanced search, You can add additional keywords. My internet connection is slowed down a little bit. You can add additional keywords. So hospitality, I think, gave me over like 1.5 million results, which is obviously too many. So we want to put in additional keywords to narrow it down a little bit. Even adding one more is going to cut our search. So let's just do human resources. And the more keywords that you add, the more narrow your search will become. See, now we've only got 16,000 results, which seems like a lot, but it's way less than over 1 million. So, and if you can also add keywords to these boxes. So if you want hospitality, but you also need, if your search isn't wide enough, you're not getting all the results that you thought you could. If you add keywords to it, like hospitality or tourism or travel, that will increase your search. I hope that makes sense to everybody. Okay, so now that you have done a keyword search, now you can use the limiters that are over on the left-hand side of the screen to further limit your results. So a big question that I usually get from students is, how do I find a peer-reviewed or an academic article? If you come over here and you click on the peer-reviewed button, it weeds out everything that's not a peer-reviewed article. So now you're just going to have an entire page full of peer-reviewed articles. And I'm just going to take that away too, because I want to be able to show you everything. But there's that. You can also limit it by publication date. For the most part, professors are looking for recent publications, unless it's something, you know, significant or historical, they want to have a recent publication. So make sure you're changing your publication date. Let's just do to 2016. And that narrowed down my search result to 18,000. I think we had gotten up over 23 a little bit ago. Another thing that you can do is you can narrow by source type. Another big resource that students look for are trade publications. So you can, if you can limit by trade publication, just print books. You can choose ebooks. I'll give you a box here with all the different types of source types that are available. Ebooks are on here. You can just look for videos, newspaper articles, so you can really narrow it down that way. You can also use all these other limiters like subject, the library location, if you are looking for a book at a specific one of our locations, and so on and so forth. Another important thing to remember are that these are all, most of these are coming from databases because they are articles. So if you wanted to find which database has the most results, you could come down here and look at the databases and go from there. You could limit to just those databases. We see that Gale General One File currently has the lead in over 2,000 articles in the results list. And if there's no questions about any of that, next I'm going to go over what you're going to do with all of your results. And you'll notice when you scroll through, it tells you what the type of article is, or what the resource type is. So the first one is an academic journal. Looks like a lot of them are academic journals. I thought I took off the peer reviewed. If it wasn't an academic journal, you would see things like a book here or an ebook, and then it would tell you how to access those. The next thing that you want to do is, when you find a result that you're interested in, is go ahead and click into it. And once you open it up, you'll find all of the information about that resource. So you'll find the title, author, the journal that it came from. It'll tell you the location if you need it. It'll also give you the abstract of the resource. I don't know why it's going so slow right now. So you have all the information here. There should be an abstract, although this one doesn't look like it has one available. A lot of times, well, any information that would be available for it would be here. Most of the time there's an abstract here. It doesn't look like it's on this particular one. Also, if you look over on the left-hand side, you'll see this button that says linked full text. That'll take you directly to the full text of this particular article. Sometimes you won't see where it says linked full text. It'll say either link full text or HTML or something, but if none of those are there, look for something that says find it at FIU. The find it at FIU button. Let me see if I can find one. I'm not gonna be able to find one in here. But the find it at FIU button will take you to the full text of it. So if it doesn't say linked full text, but you see find it at FIU, it will be located right next to it. It's blue and yellow, or blue and yellow, and it'll say find it at FIU. You just click there, it'll take you to the links where you can get the full text of this particular resource. And if nobody has any questions so far, I'm going to show you how to save these articles that we're finding. All right, let me just go ahead and go into the article itself. There's a couple of different ways that you can save something once you find it. Over on the right-hand side of the screen over here, you'll see tools. This gives you the choice of the way that of how to save it. You can save it to your Google Drive, you can print it, you can send it to yourself by email. Clicking on save will actually save it to this resource. It's called EBSCO. So what you would have to do is sign in, create an account, and save it to that account. I do not recommend doing that. And the reason is because this particular interface is going away after June. I believe we're getting a new one in July. So it's going to look a little bit different. And so anything that you save directly to this account won't work. So what I wouldn't recommend saving it directly here. What I do recommend doing is sending it to yourself by email or Google Drive. You can even click the cite button and you can choose your citation style and you can save that. Or you can export into a bibliographic management tool. The bibliographic management tool is what I was talking about before. It's that program called Refworks. There are lots of different ones. There's Refworks, EndNote, Noodle Tools, EasyBib. They all work similar. The one that the library uses is Refworks. So that's the one that I'm going to show you today. It makes it really, really quick and easy. You just click the export button. You choose the correct tool that you're using, and see right here it says direct export to Refworks. You will have to have an account and be logged in. So I'm going to show you in a minute how to do that. Once you click on the direct export to Refworks, you click save and it'll open it up and you'll be saved directly into it. So it makes it really fast. And then all of your information is saved right there so you can easily refer back to it later on. Okay, so that's pretty much how to find articles and how to save them in the future. Does anybody have any questions so far?
Yes, I have a question. I'm not an international student, but I do know some international students. How does not necessarily on the references or for this section, but it was more towards like how do they can they get a book or physically, how does that work for students internationally with resources that they cannot get physically at FIU?
So we do have a very robust ebook and ebook collection. So a lot of the stuff that they would be able to use would be virtual. They could use our ebook collection. Right now, during the shutdown, we have a program called HathiTrust, which is an ebook collection because some of our print books are not even accessible at this time. So we opened up HathiTrust. So for the time being, they can actually access things virtually even that we have in print, because we have that access. But in the future, I would suggest them using the ebook collection for any of their virtual needs.
Okay, thank you so much. And also I have a second question specifically on references and citations. So for me, I use the EasyBib, I'm not EasyBib, or their citation machine. And do you recommend using the citation machine? Because some sources that we use, we usually go to Google as our search engine to find certain articles or articles, reads, videos. So would you recommend Citation Machine, or would you recommend the resource you're providing here right now?
So I recommend anything that you feel comfortable with. So if you want to use Citation Machine, then by all means use that. I go over Refworks because this is the one that the library subscribes to. So this one, it has access to everything. I'm not familiar with all of the free versions. Sometimes the free versions don't give you everything that you need. There might be a limitation on the number of citations you can upload to it, or whatever it is. There might be ads. So that's why I usually review Refworks, but you certainly don't have to use Refworks. You can use any of the ones you're already using, or the ones that you're familiar with. If you are doing a group project with somebody who isn't at FIU and they don't have access to Refworks, then I would suggest using a different citation manager, because you wouldn't be able to share your citations with them. So it really just depends on your needs. So I'm going to review Refworks today because I want you to be aware that it is here and it's really easy to use. But keep in mind that you can use any one that you want. And as you can see in front of you, you can export to almost any of the citation managers, the EasyBib, the EndNote. And I believe Refworks does have a plugin that you can put into Google. So if you wanted to go off of Google Scholar and save stuff from there, then it would, you can just click on the plugin from your browser and it will save whatever's on your browser directly to Refworks. And same thing goes for others. I've used Zotero in the past, and I know that there's also a plugin for that one as well.
Okay, thank you so much.
You're welcome. Okay, so I'm going to show you how to get to Refworks, and I'm going to show you how to create an account and log in. And if you choose to use that in the future, that's great. If not, then don't feel like you have to. Let me just go back to the library page. So the last thing that I'm going to show you on this page is how to get to our databases list, which is where Refworks is located, but also where all of the library database links are located. Searching the white search bar that I just showed you searches across everything, including the catalog. So it's a really great quick search. But if you're looking to deep dive into a subject, or your professor wants you to go to a specific database, you should know how to get to the databases. We have them sorted by subject, and you can also sort them by type. So let me just show you what I'm talking about. You go to Find, A to Z list, and you're going to get a listing of all the library databases that are available to you. There's way too many to go over at once. I believe we subscribe to over 700 of them. So what I recommend doing is a couple different things. First, if you know the name of the database you're looking for, go under the search box right over here on the right-hand side, type it in, and it will bring it directly up for you. If you don't know the name of the database, but you have a subject that you're searching for, like let's say hospitality, you're going to look for that subject under the subject box. And it will bring up all the databases that are related to that subject. The three at the top on this page are the best bets. You'll find best bets for pretty much every subject that you go to. Those are the databases that you want to focus on, but any of the ones on this page will be useful. Another great thing about going to the subject heading page is every subject has a liaison librarian connected with it. Since I'm the hospitality librarian, that's why you see my picture over here on the right-hand side. It'll also have my contact information. So if you need to get a hold of me, this is a really quick way of finding me and finding your liaison librarian for your subject that you're studying. Another way of finding a database really quickly is to go to the database types and looking for it that way. These are broken up by type. So if you're looking for just ebooks, you can click on the ebooks one. Oops, I went too far down. Just move my screen a little bit more. A lot of students that I encounter look for statistical data and information. That's not really easily found in that white search bar on the homepage. So it's important to know how to get to that, the statistical data. But you can search by newspaper databases, ebook databases, government documents, whatever you need is listed right here. What else? Okay. So if there's no questions about that, then I'm going to show you how to get to Refworks, which is listed on this database page. The first time that you use Refworks, you will have to create an account. So you're going to go under the search bar and search for it. Yes, Nadine, you have a question?
Yes, my question was on the liaisons, or am I saying that right? Liaisons. Anyways,
Liaisons.
for the various liaisons, is it for each and every major, or how many are there?
We have liaisons for every major. I can't remember off the top of my head exactly how many of us there are. Some of us have more than one major. For example, I'm hospitality and nursing. So we work with multiple majors, but yes, there is a liaison specifically for every major. The benefit of reaching out to your liaison when you're doing research is, first of all, they're usually aware of whatever research project you're doing because they're in contact with the professor, so that's useful. Also, they know they're the ones who have the most, the best knowledge of the resources available. I mean, I know how to find almost everything with all of the resources through the library, but if you ask me a question about nursing or hospitality research, I probably can give you a little bit more of an in-depth answer to that. So that's the benefit of reaching to a librarian.
Okay, thank you so much.
You're welcome. Good questions, by the way. Thank you for asking. Okay, so this is how you get to Refworks. You just go over and you just search for it. You can also go to the little alphabet down here and click on the R and it would do the same thing. Oops, I didn't hit the magnifying glass here. When you do a search for Refworks, you are going to find 2 logins. Always choose the new login. The legacy login is there. There's a few people who are still using the old one who haven't had a chance to switch over yet. But for new users, always use the new login. You're just going to click on it. And then, oh, I'm already logged in. Let me log out. So I can show you what it looks like. So you're just going to go there, scroll down, click on create an account. It's going to ask for your FIU email address. When you make sure you enter your email address. It's going to ask you to also create a password. You don't have to use the one for FIU. You can use any password you want. And then once you've done that, then you've created the account, then you can go back and you can do your search through the databases. So I'm just going to log in real quick. And then I'm going to go back to my results list over here, and I'm going to go ahead and export a couple of articles into Refworks so that you can see what it looks like. So remember, when you find the article that you're looking for on the information page, go over to the tools on the right-hand side of the screen, click on export, find the correct citation tool. So I have it selected for Refworks. Click save. It's going to open up Refworks for you. Always choose export to the newest version. If you weren't already, it probably would ask you to log in there. Oh, yeah, it's going to ask me to log in again. That does not like me. I'm typing too fast today. And once we are in, there's the great thing about this program is you can, when you're saving, you can assign it to a folder. If you're working on more than one project at a time, you can choose the folder that you want to assign it to. I'm not going to do that right now, but if you wanted to, you could. So if you want to keep all of your citations for one project separate from another, that's a good way to do it, is to put it into folders. You click on the import button and it will appear before you. And it will show you all of the citations that you have recently imported. So this is everything. I did some earlier today, so that's why you'll see others on this page. But if you come over here on the left-hand side where it says all references, if you click there, it will show you a listing of everything that you have ever imported. And if you click on one, over here on the right side, it gives you all of the information about the citation that was imported from the database. So it tells, you know, it automatically puts in the author's name. These tags are metadata tags that Refworks applies to it. You don't necessarily have to use these tags. You can also add your own tags, you know, publication date. The link right here, to the easy proxy for FIU.edu, that will take you directly back to the article itself. So that's a really good way of getting to it. So if you don't want to have to recreate your search every single time, you can just go into Refworks and you can click on these links and it'll take you back to the full text article. You can click on that little edit button right up here and you can edit anything on that page. So if there's something on here that you didn't like, sometimes when things are imported into Refworks, they're imported weird. Like maybe this is actually an abstract or it's a book. So you can change the reference type, you can change the title, anything that you see that was incorrect or you need to change, you can edit. You can also come down here to the notes section. You can add notes to it, to yourself, to, you know, the reasons why you like this article or why you want to use it in the future. Anything that you would like to do, you can change when it comes to this article. And you click save and it's all right there. Another nice thing, as I said before, if you are working in a group and your group mates are also using Refworks, you can share citations with them that you have found. You just choose the ones that you want and then share it into a folder, and then you can both go and work off of the same folder of citations. You can also create bibliographies from the citations that you've saved in here. So I just went up to create bibliography. You choose the citation style that you want. I happen to use APA 7th edition a lot, but you can search from over 6,500 styles and you can quickly and easily change them. Once you have created the citation, you've created your references, you just click on copy to clipboard and it will, you can paste it into your Google Doc or your Word doc, whatever program you're using. Another useful tool is back under Create Bibliography. You'll see Quicksite, and that is a that will quickly give you I don't know if you can see this box or not. You probably can't. I think I have to share that screen. So let me just go to new share. Okay, so now you should be able to see the little box that I just opened up. This is the quick citation box. Once again, you just choose your citation style. So I've got APA 7th edition. And it's going to quickly give you the in-text citations for all of the citations that you have on your list. So you can copy the citation and put that into the text. So as you're writing the sentences, you put that right there into the text of your work. So it makes it really fast to be able to create those in-text citations. Oops, I stopped sharing. Let me go back to Refworks. Okay, and then finally, there's this tools box. If you are You can put a plugin into Microsoft Word, and I believe also into Google Drive. You can put the plugin for Refworks into it. So as you're writing your paper, it will automatically put the in-text citations and the bibliography and the references into your paper. So you can just put it in there as you go. So you don't have to keep going back and forth between Refworks and that. It's already all together. It's kind of seamless. There's also a way to find duplicates if you're doing research over multiple days and you don't know if you've saved the same article more than once. This will find the duplicates for you and help you delete them. And I think that's pretty much everything. Everything else seems pretty self-explanatory. Do any of you guys have any questions about Refworks? Nope. All right, well, that is pretty much the end of my presentation today. I went over study tips, I went over research tips for the library, and I went over Refworks. If you do have any questions for me in the future, my information is right there on the page. Right now, I am working remotely, so the best and fastest way to reach me is on my email, which is alaffert@fiu.edu. But you can always call me on my phone and leave a message. And in the future, when I come back to campus, I will be located in the Hubert Library at the BBC campus in room 102B, so on the first floor. You just come into the first floor and ask for me and I will be there.